Welcome to the Busy Being Born podcast with your hosts Kamande and Kigondu.
Wacha hizo mazee, wacha hizo bana.
Okay, nimeacha.
Okay. So if you'd notice already, utaona one of us. Is it both of us, Abu? Is it? Yeah. Wacha? Oh, sawa. Oh, yeah. So if you'd notice, this was pointed out not so long ago. To see wanza episode na hiyo energia. Hey, I love tunaenda. Hey, how you doing? So Sai Commander is now doing it intentionally. I mean, I noticed Nico dude, bana. All good. How you doing, man?
Pole bana. Unajua when you're like the 4-year-old,
Yeah.
You repeat a lot of things.
Yeah.
Ufala too, basically.
Ufala ni poa.
No, yes, this thing where you asked, Baba, do you know every story?
Wow.
Do you know? I'm like, it's another kumtapia.
Oh, wait. I thought that was a statement by itself. Like, do you know every story?
No.
Oh, man, Nico, hiyo mtoi ni profound.
Hapana. Nothing.
Hey,
nothing.
okay. It is well.
Who's bringing us this episode?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Busy Being Born podcast. Our sponsors this week, or this episode, are Prevail Presents. Prevail Presents is a theater and film company based in Nairobi, Kenya. And this guy is Maze. Wamefanya around a dozen productions so far. This is their 6th, 7th year. Don't ask me why I seem to know these things off like the top of my mind. And vile Monique insist. Monique, si mnajua, our production manager ameamua, now we are doing these sponsorships off the top, off the cuff. Nimefikiria top na cuff at the same time. Anyway, yes, so Prevail Presents. Those are dope guys. Check them out at the theaters near you this particular year, 2023. They'll be traveling around with their one-man performance, Supernova, as it does its victory lap. It won the Best Playwright of the Year, and it won Best Actor in a Solo Performance of the Year for one of their dope guys in there. They also won Best Sound Designer at the Kenya Theatre Awards this particular year. And they keep going. They were nominated for more than a dozen award categories, so you can clearly tell they're doing a good job out there. So yes, so catch them in Blessed Be the Fruit, which should be running for another weekend. Then after that, they are on to their next, their first feature film. They'll also be releasing, this we've shared for the last probably 1 year. Tunasema their next short film is coming out, Kanudhu. It is finally out soon enough. It should be ready maybe by the time tunatoa episode. So check them out. Some of the artists ambao wamework now, unaweza enda kwa social media pages zao uone huko all the work they've prolifically done over the years. Check them out. And just like one of our guests, JJ Maze, you can tell that the theater scene and the filmmaking scene in this Nairobi, this Kenya of ours, is super active. So go out there, support. And like we always say, when you're supporting the arts, you're not just supporting because it's the African ama the Kenyan thing to do. You're supporting because they're actually really good. Give them a try. Na utakuwa, oh snap, why didn't I discover this guy is way ahead of now? Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest.
We have a guest.
Niulize maswali.
Yeah.
Are they brilliant?
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
They're very
Quite good, yeah?
Yeah, quite good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Are they... ya pili na kuanga nini?
Motherland.
Yes, are they representing the motherland?
Yes.
They are representing the motherland.
Wow. Kwanza,
yeah.
We'll get into it.
So much so, Adi wame travel like across the continent.
And the sort of thing they're doing
Yeah.
is like this African representation in this modern day, which is quite fascinating.
Pretty dope, right?
Yeah, pretty dope,
Yes.
Yeah.
And finally, are they busy being born?
They're busy being born. That's the only reason they're here. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is a prolific songwriter, singer-songwriter actually, performing artist, professional background, vocalist and music entrepreneur based in Nairobi, Kenya. Uku Nairobi. She shares a passion for all things music and a desire to see our creative industry grow, thrive and become sustainable. Currently, she works in the Kenyan music industry as a performing artist and manager with a collective of 6 diverse musicians known as Wanavokali, who have been making waves in Nairobi. If you haven't listened to this jam, man, rumba. and their debut album, man, I don't know what you're doing. So go have a listen if you've not, which I suspect you might already have. She also serves as the managing director and one of the founding members of their company, Wanavokali Entertainment Limited. Their products and services as an organization are centered around music and entertainment. Music releases, live performances, songwriting for artists, ads and jingles, and film, as well as background vocals. That's her focus. She has an 8-year-long career in music, and Ythera, I said her name.
Yes.
You
did.
I
Already.
did.
We might as well.
Because out of the bag. She also had the opportunity. Yeah, please go ahead.
As you're speaking, namwangalia tu niko.
Yeah. Man. She's phenomenal. Sorry, the cat of the bag is out of the bag. She's also had the opportunity of performing on big stages such as the Coke Studio Africa and the Safaricom Twice Alive National Tour. Most notably, in 2020, with her group Wanavokali, she participated in the inaugural regional singing competition known as the Old Mutual Amazing Voices Africa that took place in Johannesburg, South Africa. And guess what? They won.
Of course.
Of course they won.
Yes.
Beating other competitors from Ghana, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. So when you ask if they're representing the motherland, they are representing it and killing it out there. This enabled them to successfully launch their career as a collective in the Kenyan music space. Ladies and gentlemen, that and much, much more that we'll hear from her today and learn, pick out the lessons from her journey. We give you the amazing, the phenomenal
Ythera.
Woohoo!
Ythera! Hey. Sasa.
Poa sana.
Good. I was looking at your face as you asked his story. What's that feeling? What's that feeling?
I don't
Are you
know
thinking, guy, huyu kamande anasoma aje bana? Ama are you thinking, oh, that's me? What are you thinking?
Hey.
Nimekuenjoy.
Bana, delete your part. Oh, no.
It's an interesting feeling.
Yes.
It's nice and also weird because I tend to be an awkward person.
Are you?
I am, imagine.
Yeah.
I think I just mask it very well. Over the years, nimelan
How would you define awkward?
awkward. Sometimes I say the wrong things or I never know what to say.
Yeah.
Or some nervous anxiety or being clumsy in a way or quirky.
Yeah. Quirky is good.
Or quirky,
Quirky is good. In fact, quirky now is being used on bios. So mtu atajidescribe as a little bit quirky. And it's a good thing.
Quirky.
Yes, that is you.
Yes.
Okay. When did you feel like, I'm awkward around people? Is that an adult thing? Ama ulikumbuka?
Always. As a child, in fact, wanasema I was a very, very shy kid.
Okay.
Una vile watu husema ati when they were kids, walikuwa wakiwa na wageni, ati they come and do a show and perform and sing for the... Imagine that would never happen. Never have been me.
Your mom never made you do that?
No, they only came to find out I can sing when I was in high school. When I joined the high school choir.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, okay.
Imagine, I was quite a shy girl.
Hapo sawa. We'll jump into this vizuri kabisa. Aya, tuanze today ama tuanze back in the day? Tuanze today. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ythera. In this very day or this season or in the recent past, what's the thing that you've most recently changed your mind about?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an interesting question.
And it could be as simple as today I'm not doing coffee, I'm doing tea. Or it could be as super profound as you want.
Mimi nitachana na waru.
Mi nitachana na ngano. That's a repeating joke on the podcast.
I think from my, wacha tu niseme in a musical perspective, I started out as a solo musician and now I work in a group.
Okay.
That has completely changed my mind about needing people and collaborating. Because I think I'm a very independent-minded person. And when I started out my career, ilikuwa ni mimi. Na una push, na uwendo unajaribu kufungua milango. But then I met these 6 people who are completely different from me.
Yeah.
In personality, in thinking, in opinion, in everything. And of course, we clash here and there. But they've really changed my perspective on working with people and actually collaborating.
Okay.
And anytime I meet artists or people ask for advice, I normally say collaboration is the way to go.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really, really opened my perspective about needing people and actually asking for help.
And asking for help.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Maze tumeanza profound. Okay, fantastic. Aya, kamande tupeleke pale tutaanzia.
Tuanzia hapa mahali. Tunasema your parents really never knew you could sing at all. Yeah. So where is this? Where are you growing up? Let's set the stage for the early days of your life.
Do we have siblings?
What's happening?
Wacha nianze basi na chanzo ya kila kitu. Cha kila kitu, which is my parents. I have a father, a young man who came from Muranga, and my mom, a young lady who came from Kitui.
Which part of Muranga?
Muranga, Kagari.
Oh,
yes.
Look at that. Okay. That's close to my shags. To my home. No shags, my home.
Nyuko. They met in university. Walikuwa wanasoma pamoja. My parents are veterinary doctors. So they met in uni, wakapendana. By the time they were in 4th year, boom, mtoto. Our firstborn. So
walitoka uni na vitu mbili, degree na mtoto.
Ndio hiyo sasa.
That's always
alafu watatuambia tusilete watoto. The funny thing. So yes, walipatana kampo, wakapata mtoi, our firstborn. Guy, I have 2 brothers. I'm the only girl and I'm the last born in our family. Yeah, so they got my bro, and hiyo time wakiwa kampo, walikuwa wanasemanga walikuwa na posti wangu kwenye wataenda kuwaka. I think things are different now. So my dad alipostiwa akaenda kuwa Lamu, mamangu I think alikuwa Machakos, and then they lived together in Machakos and got our second born, who is a boy as well. Then mimi ka last born nikatokea, tulikuwa tunaishi Jamu, but my recollection of Jamu sinanga memories. Mdogo they worked their way up, and then we moved to a place called Garden Estate. So primarily I grew up in Garden Estate. I was a tomboy. Nilikuwa nafuata mabro wangu kila kitu. Tumeachana na first born tuko na 4 year gap, third born ni second born ni 3 year gap. So my bros wameachana na 1 year.
Amazing family planning.
Wazazi wamejipanga.
Tuseme.
But they're veterinary doctors. You didn't expect less.
Right?
So niko na mabro wawili. Nilikuwa tomboy mbaya. Nilikuwa nawafuata kila pahali. Get in trouble together. Tukichapa wazazi wangu walikuwa wafani. Mtu mmoja akikosea tunachapwa si wote. Sijui kwa nini ilikuanga hivyo. But yeah, that's how I grew up, and then somewhere in my childhood nikadiscover tu napenda muziki. Kitu ikichezwa kwa TV na sing along, ama najipata najiseclude, maybe naandika tu lyrics pahali. Kuna times nilikuwa nasikiza makaset, una rewind, unaandika lyrics. That's how I knew I could sing, but I never sang in public. Sikuwaimbia wazazi wangu. I never sang in primos, kuimba kwa shule. Nilikuwa tu naimba parade ile yenye mtu amelead song unaimba tu chini ya maji, ama una harmonize chini ya maji, na sikuwa najua hata harmony ni nini. But yeah, that's how I discovered.
Okay.
I could sing.
With your siblings, even before sasa tuingie kwa pali mziki ilianzia, uko na memory ya hiyo ya when you're punished and you're punished all 3 of you? Is there one hadi wa leo umebeba? Uko hii si mimi nilifanya na hii tulitwango juu yenu.
Kiwazi sikumbuki.
There is none that comes to mind.
Kuna moja nilikumbuka nilichapwa, but say as an adult ina make sense kwangu. Nilikuwa na mabro wangu. It was a very hot day. Sijui ilikuwa month gani, labda January. Jujani ndio kuna huanga na kiangazi hivi. My bros walikuwa wametoka nje, wameweka t-shirt hivi nyuma ya shingo. Sina mimi.
Wewe ukaona.
Na mimi kazi yangu ni kuwafuata. But by then I had not matured, nilikuwa katoi kadogo. Nikaeka tisho hivyo. Tumetembea, tumecheza, mamangu akanipata. Nilichapwa, nakumbuka nilichapwa vibaya sana.
Nakatisho nyuma ya shingo.
Na sikuwa naelewa mbona mama ananichapa hivi. See, my brothers are doing the very same thing. But sasa hivi venye nimekuwa mkubwa I realized. I think hapo ndio hata gender roles huanza from a young age. Mnafunzwa wasichana hawafai kufanya hivi, maboya hawafai kufanya hivi.
Speaking of that incident, is this the first time it starts hitting you? You're different. You're like, wait, I'm not a boy.
Yes, definitely. I didn't know why, and she didn't explain mbona nanichapa. But yes, I got the difference that I'm not like my brothers.
Were they chapwad as well?
No. Hawakuchapwa.
Kwa discrimination. Hata wametoa wanaonesha kifua.
Ni mbaya sana, ndio mimi nichapo hivyo.
Look at that.
But it's good because hujaito after hapo.
Decorum.
Usipare tena mabro wako.
That's what's up. Aya, turudi sasa kwa the singing. When you say you're recording on cassette tapes and all, tunaongea juu ya ilikuwa late primary school ama tunaongea like very very early?
Late primary, not recording, like listening to cassettes. Then una rewind kuandika lyrics. Kwanza nakumbuka song moja.
Yeah, I was going to ask the genres.
I remember just this one particular song ya Shay. Do you believe in life after love after... Nilikuwa napenda hiyo wimbo sana. That one. Really don't think I'm strong enough, no. Ndio hiyo.
And hizi zilikuwa siku za lyrics. Do you remember lyrics?
Zilikuwa zatoka kwa gazeti.
Ile gazeti.
That was the time. That was the time.
Look at that.
Yes.
And this time you closet singing.
Closet singing, not even my bros knew, nobody knew, not my friends from primary. And I don't even know why I felt, unajua ukiwa mtoi kuna vitu fanya hata ujui. I don't know why I felt the need to keep it secret. But I think I've come to learn of myself. Mimi, I'm a very behind the scenes kind of person. Mtu chini ya maji sana, not a limelight person. So it even shangazas me how I'm in the music industry now. Because that is for sure not my personality. Kabisa. Yeah.
What school is this, Primo?
Primo, nilikuwa nimeenda shule inaitwa Sauti Academy. Then I moved to another school called Marion Preparatory.
Okay, look at
kwa Kahawa West huko.
Mimi ni mtu wa Kahawa West.
Wewe ni mtu kulilelewa West?
Nililelewa West from sasa class what high school?
Sasa kutoka class 5 ndio nilikuwa hapo Marion Preparatory.
Okay.
So at this point in time you're singing, no one really knows about it. And mpaka umalize class 8 hakuna mtu anajua.
Hakuna mtu anajua. Sasa ndio nikamaliza Primo. I got called to Quabbz Moi Girls Nairobi. And Moi Girls is a very arts oriented school. In fact our choir men tulikuwa tunashinda music fests. We used to bag a lot of awards. Sasa venye nilifika Moi Girls nikajiambia form 1 I'll join the choir. But I got afraid. Nilishtuka auditions, alafu unajua kuna vile tumono mlikuwa mnatritiwa. Sasa nilikuwa tu na uoga mob. Form 1 I sat it out. Form 2
and sorry. In form 1 as you when you sat it out, were you still doing your thing behind the scenes?
So I had a friend called Marianne. I remember her because she had such a bold spirit. Alikuwa a very courageous person. She joined the choir. She auditioned na kaingia choir. So to join our choir you had to audition, and then you also had to have certain grades ndio wakubali uingie choir. So Marianne alikuwa ananiambia vile choir iko, vile inabamba, vile wanaenda fest wanaongelesha maboy. Mimi nasikia vibaya tu hapo. So form 2 ikafika, Marianne akaniambia no, usiache hiyo audition iende. Akaniambia even if you fear just go. So she gave me a hack. Akaniambia take a pebble, a stone, weke kwa mkono. Now imagine hiyo fear yote una feel it's going into that stone. Wow. So that's what I did. I don't know why my eyes are teary.
That's beautiful.
Anyway, so nikaenda audition. The auditions used to be held by form 3s. Because choir you could only be allowed to be there from form 1 to form 3. Ukifika form 4, so focus
on education.
Focus na masomo. The form 3s were bullies. And I don't know why that time form 1s, hata tukiwa form 2 tulikuwa wadogo. Si tuliingia tukiwa tudogo sana. Unaingia shule unapata mama thewe. For real.
So tukapata mabuda.
Sisi ya yetu ya form 1 most of us wenye tuliingia for some reason tulikuwa wadogo tu. So nikaenda audition nikapata wamekuchorea ka circle hapo. Usimame katikati ya circle uimbe. Sasa mimi nikaingia na hiyo pebble yangu. But hiyo fear, hii kitu ilianguka. Ilianguka and it made so much noise. But imagine, I auditioned, I don't remember what I sang. I auditioned through my fear, nikaimba na nika-join choir.
Do you remember what song you auditioned with?
I don't remember. Must have probably blanked out too.
Look at that. And this was your first audition?
This in life, yes. This was my first audition.
Okay.
And actually first time singing in front of people.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah.
So before you sing in front of people for the first time, before this first audition, do you think you're good?
All I know is I can sing.
Okay.
I can carry a tune. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Sijui hata sida hiyo the concept of is it good, is it bad?
There's no barometer.
There's really no. There's no gauging.
There's no gauging.
Because I've never done it in front of an audience. Me, I just know I hear something on radio ama nasikia mtu akiimba and I can replicate
Yeah.
and I can sing. That's
And do you feel
what I knew.
confident? So even if there's no gauge, are you
Yeah.
is there an internal story that maybe you're telling yourself that I'm actually good at this?
imagine no, because
I'm confident that I can do this.
not really, because also I've not exercised that muscle.
Yeah.
I really have no concept of knowing whether I'm good. Again, as I tell you, the way people say, mi nilikuwa najua, I just knew I had it.
Yeah.
I didn't, to be honest,
Yeah.
and this is my very, very honest opinion, I really didn't know. I really did not know. Yeah.
So why are you really going? Are you really going kwa sababu uko hata wacha nikupea options. But why are you really going?
June napenda kuimba, and I see this choir people singing, and I love the music they're doing, and the only thing that's preventing me from going is because na feel fear. Okay. That was the only thing. And then of course I had the encouragement of my friend Miriam, who really, really pushed me to do it. Yeah. Because I think she also knew that. Shout out to you, Miriam.
Yeah.
Because I think she really knew that I wanted it, just that I would not allow myself to do it.
Didn't have enough courage.
Yes, I didn't have that courage to do it.
I want to throw this all the way forward to this day. Since that time, when you did your first audition, has your relationship with fear and this shyness changed at all?
It has changed somewhat, because first of all, that experience taught me to just do. And I think I carry that notion with me, to do in spite of fear, to do whether or not you're ready or prepared, to just do. The same as I was telling you guys before, me, I'm a preparation person. So when Monique called me to come and do the podcast, I started asking questions like, what will you ask me? What do I need to prepare? But akasema, you just come. And she sent me links and told me it's very conversational. Wekuja too. So I think I carry that spirit in life now. Whether or not I'm prepared, whether or not I feel I'm ready, I don't want to keep talking myself out of doing things. Yeah.
So the conversation shifted.
Yes.
Let's talk ourselves
Yes.
into
And
this
also,
thing and not out.
It's a constant thing, and it's a constant reminder. I have to keep reminding myself. I really, really have to. I have to give myself a pep talk. Nifanye. What is I either do or I regret not that I didn't do it.
Do you have totems or replicas of the Castone?
No,
Like a
because
thing,
it
doesn't have
didn't
to be the
fully work.
stone.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work. Hiyo nilisahaulia hapo.
That didn't help.
Yeah, hiyo nilisahaulia hapo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first audition,
Quabbz.
Quabbz.
Yes.
What's the reaction of the Form 3s, if any? Are they do they look like they're impressed?
I think they were wowed. From what I remember, they were wowed, because I got an immediate yes. Uko ndani ya kwaya, akuwa na maswali. Kama kulikuwa na maswali, labda ilikuwa ile ya kukubuli tu, ile hazing tu, but it was an immediate yes. Yeah. So I guess it was a bit reassuring that maybe then that answers your question, that maybe then I'm good enough to actually
to keep going.
to actually
maybe
do
this is the
this
first
thing.
reinforcement.
Yes, actually.
Look at that. Is it let's talk about your season in Quabbz, but I'm curious, is this miaka yenu ndio mlifanya KDK?
Apana, wao walikuja after sisi tushatoka.
Because I watched that.
It wasn't us.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't us.
Sawa. Anyway,
it was after. It was
after you guys.
Yes.
Aye, let's talk about that season. So from 2, umeingia choir. Are you now popular in school? What is going on? Is it like extra rehearsals? What's that season?
It was a lot of rehearsals. Where ilikuwa choir season, actually music first season, I think ilikuwa second term. It was a lot of kuhata class, which sikuwa na mind. Shida ilikuwa kukuja na kukatch up na masomo. But I didn't mind. It was a lot of practice. I think every night, was it for either 2 hours or so. I just remember it feeling very rigorous, but very, very, very satisfying. And then we went for provincials, I think. Hey, I'm trying to remember where. It might have been Pumwani Boys. Then tukapita, tukaenda Chavakali for nationals. And also it was my first time going out of town. Going out of town as a teenager on my own. Bila wazazi, in a school setting. Raha ya kuona maboy, si ati hata tutawaongelesha. But ilikuwa hiyo raha
so
pia.
You telling me that chicks felt the same way about funkies? Basi wanajua kuficha sana.
Mumefungiwa kwa shule, mko wasichana peke yenu, mmepigana, shule imebo. So imagine if you get an opportunity to go out of school, itabamba for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Actually, hatukwenda Chavakali. That one we went to Moi Kabarak. I remember because it was in Nakuru and Moi Kabarak was a very, very bougie school. And us, we are a Moi school, but we were not at that.
level yao. Hey, Kabarak was something else.
Yeah, Kabarak was a very, very, very nice school. And the boys were so well behaved. It was a very, very nice experience. Yeah, that's what I remember from Music Fest. And then fast forward to Form 3, I got elected as an official of the choir.
Of the choir.
Yeah, so my position was when it was Kitares, and my work was feeding people to Kienda Fests and then making sure people do exercises when it's music festival season. Exercise yani tizi kukimbia, vocal warm-ups, hiyo sikumbuki. But yeah, that was my work primarily, kufeed watu na kumake sure tunafanya exercises na kumake sure pia wasea wakuli snacks juu choir season. We weren't allowed to have snacks, crepes, biscuits, vitu sugary, juice, hizo zilikuwa zimekataliwa. Yeah, so that was my work in the choir.
I have a question on why such schools are that good at certain things. Yeah. One, is it a factor of more time being spent by the choir and the school who are supportive about it? Ama is it just a factor of getting really good singers and then improving on their quality of work? I don't know. How did it come about to be that good?
I think it might be a mix of both. So there's that we really were very dedicated. And I think also that put some element of having discipline, some sort of discipline. Hata hiyo kutokula, hata maziwa tukua tunakubalishwa kunywa, hiyo kutokula snacks, kutofanya nini. It sort of makes you value your craft and what you need to do to improve it. Ama to maintain what you have. There's that we were dedicating a lot of time to doing practices. Always in the evenings. I think ilikuwa during prep time, we had to take some time off and do some rehearsal. Also, we had a very, very, very good choir director. Amazing choir director. He was called Mr. Chokera. Actually, he works at the PPMC, the Permanent Presidential Music Commission. I think he's the deputy director, if I'm kama sijakosea. But yeah, he was also made us very diligent, and I think he also taught us in a very, it's the way he taught, not in a harsh manner. Kuna vile alikuwa anatuongelesha, and I think that matters. How you're taught matters. The delivery matters. That's also something I came to learn. Juu kuna vile mkiongelesha in a certain way, I think you won't be as productive as, I don't know if that's the same in boys' schools, but I guess girls are given some sort of grace. Yeah, so there's a way he used to teach that made us better.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've not done anything in front of people up to this point.
Yes.
So between Form 2 and Form 4, you go for all those music festivals, and you are in the hands of Mr. Chokera and all these other amazing ladies who can sing. Is there a point at which you ask yourself any of these two questions? One, or rather have this idea in your mind, either, okay, maybe niko poa sana sasa, najua, I'm really good at this, or, oh man, I was not as good as maybe I might have thought, or there's a lot of learning that I have to do. Did you have any of those two in ideas in those two directions?
I think I felt finally I belong. Finally, I'm with my kinfolk. Niko na watu.
You found your tribe.
Yeah, I found my tribe. I'm with people who enjoy singing. So when I got into choir, I was assigned the voice alto 1. Alto 1 niyo ya katikati. Not soprano, not deep alto. Uko katikati pahali. And for me, it was not that hard of an adjustment. It was not, I found it very, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Getting your alto parts, being taught how to sing, being taught that, you should round in your voice and sing this way. Those are things, because I was very interested in it. I found it very, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Siwezi sema kuna pali nilifika nikasema,
yeah,
this is too much.
So you enjoying it it seems like a key, and you actually finding this thing that you're really passionate about feels like if you're enjoying it, then nothing else matters.
Yeah, and in fact,
feels like that.
I think it made my high school experience much more better and much more bearable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Kuna vile public school sometimes inakwanga na maneno mingi. So when you have a creative outlet, for me, it made my high school experience very enjoyable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Are you noticing something different about you? Like, let's say ukiingia Form 1, you're all quiet and shy. Umeingia choir. By Form 4, tunaweza simamisha this two beside each other, the Form 1 version view and Form 4 version view, and say, oh wow, look at
What
the
a
difference.
transformation.
What has changed?
I think that thing that you're asking, the confidence, it really
So you're now
really
more
built my
confident.
Yes, I'm now more confident.
Uh-huh.
And also because of getting that choir position, I also got another position of leadership
Uh-huh.
in the Catholic committee. It was called YCS. I think the young Catholic
Students.
Yeah,
students.
YCS, yes.
YCS, I was assigned the role of DJ. Why? Because this
Hey.
mwenye ana control
Yule
muziki, mwenye anaweka radio. And I would guess that would be related because I'm in the choir. I am niko in leadership in the choir. So I guess it just makes sense to give her that position of the DJ. So I guess me opening up also opened up other to opportunities in the school.
Clearly it did.
Yes,
So one
yes.
of the most distinct things would be pointing out your confidence level.
Yes.
Imepanda kabisa.
Tuseme kabisa, at least imepanda.
Imeimprove.
Imeimprove.
You can see a significant difference.
Imeimprove. Before I had that friend Marianne and another friend called Meryl Page. She's actually a musician even up to now. She used to really bully me to sing for her. Pia yeye alikuwa ananiforce, niambia unaweza imba, mbona unajifungia. She's also one of the people who really pushed me to try and sing more.
Okay. The leadership position. What are you discovering about yourself ukiwa sasa in charge ya watu?
I think I found my leadership style.
Okay.
Mine is not authoritarian. I think even for me, generally as a person, I have this quiet strength. And I think that's also how my leadership manifests, in that quiet strength, in gentle strength. I would put it that way. Discovering my leadership style, discovering that as much as I'm a shy person, I really enjoy talking to people. Naona hivi one on one, naweza shindwa kuongelesha watu hivi hadharani, but one on one, I came to discover that that's something I really like, even up to now. I quite enjoy talking to people and getting to know people one on one. And also it made me make more friends.
And is this the first time? I guess it is. The first time you're in a position of leadership within music spaces and music circles. And coming back to your true story, Kamande, in the future, you become who you are. Na bado kuna hii space ya you managing a group and nini. In a way na feel nika come back. Almost
comes full circle.
But your time pia nilikuwa na imposter syndrome because nilikuwa na shanga mbona mimi ndo nimechaguliwa nifanye like there are more popular people, there are people who are well known in the school, mbona ni mimi nilichaguliwa, ilinifanya I think pia hiyo ndio ilikuwa one of the first times nimepata imposter syndrome. Like you to question mbona mimi mbona si mtu mwingine.
Do you still have that, or have you been able to deal with it occasionally?
It does happen.
And what story do you tell yourself, or how do you counter that narrative in your mind?
Making me think about actually, even when I also got called to do the podcast, sometimes my first instinct is to say no to things, and I don't know where that stems from. It's that thing of I'm not ready enough, siko penye ninafaa kuwa, siko pali na penye watu wananiona si penye mimi najiona, so sijafika hapo bado, so mbona nipate hiyo platform. I think that's what I normally think, but then I think back to in my young age, the things I've achieved, the things I've been able to do, the things I've been able to overcome, and I think it kind of gives me that strength kujua niko na uwezo ya kufanya hiki kitu.
That's interesting.
Are you comparing yourself to a thing or a version of you that
maybe that I think I should be? I think so.
Even back then?
Okay, maybe I didn't have the self-awareness to think of it that way. But maybe then would have been comparing myself to other people, not even myself. It would have been to other people. So imposter syndrome and
imposter syndrome is a very interesting one. One of the things that I have thought about in terms of dealing with such, because I feel like most human beings encounter a different magnitude that feeling, right? So there are so many avenues and ways of dealing with it, with this phenomena of feeling unworthy, we can call it that, right? Maybe in some cultures is more it's more deep-rooted than in others, right? But let's say, okay, even professionally as a musician, as an artist, as whoever, right? So one of the ideas that I have, it might sometimes never make sense, but I think it works. One is, does it really matter? So you made a podcast. Whether
And
you're
then-
worthy or not,
Yeah.
so you made it.
Yes.
What at work na you? Yeah, like nothing else matters. Whether forget about the background story, because now imposter syndrome is based on you retracing back. It's what we're talking about in the podcast, right? You're looking behind and like, what do I have here? But you kwa sahi.
Ni ukweli.
Why does whatever story you're telling yourself about
matter.
the past or the future really matter?
Yeah.
You know,
That's very
uko
true.
kwa kwaya sahi, wewe umefanya mdosi wa kwaya, mbona unaangalia sahi na manyuma? Mdos. Mbona una so you're here now. You're let's do it. And I mean there are different ways of philosophizing it and actually applying it. I think it's become a huge topic in the recent past. People are getting to speak about it and then realizing, we all have hints of
it's not
this.
talked about
It's not
often,
talked-
especially in the entertainment industry. People just assume we are just confident. We just go on stage and we just know what we are supposed to be doing. Imagine haiko hivyo. You see, or that's not my reality. Wacha nsiongelele wengine, that's not my
mi niko hapa
reality.
niko here. We got
We got
this.
ndio hiyo.
What you
And I
talking
always
about?
wonder people who have that kind of confidence.
No, I'm
That looks
kidding.
like something Kevin had to do.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
and also I've always wondered people who have that confidence that's just inborn, where does it come from?
Yeah.
So I always wonder. Yeah. Because for me, I have to talk myself into doing some things. I really have to. Yeah.
So sai tuko the teenage version of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little me.
Sindio, 16, 17, 18, discovering, you've discovered the girl has a voice and the girl has a brilliant voice and the girl is a leader. Hizi facets zingine za life zinakupelekaje? How you relating with your siblings, with your family, kuchokozana na maboys now that mnaenda funkies.
I really want to make I'm really holding, but I won't do it.
Sema.
No, his jokes man at times are like very yeah,
No,
zina
don't
take
hold
tangents.
back for my benefit. Try sema tu.
No, just let it go. I'll tell you after this. Or not.
I would say my life was good. My parents have always been supportive, so they supported me when I was in the choir. My bros ningeona holiday times za visiting. Ilikuwa tu fiti.
Yeah.
I think the one area now I was struggling with was my studies kidogo.
Okay.
Sasa having to now come back after choir season, and then I think for choir we had to have sijui kama ilikuwa grade ya B- ama C, so that you'd be allowed into the choir. So also
Wow.
having to maintain that. There are many times I didn't maintain that grade, but yeah, having to maintain that grade was one of the hardest bits. Yeah. Kwanza form 3 nakumbuka manze, that was not a good academic year for me. Kwanza chem ndio hiyo mole concept imeintroduciwa. Sijui nini organic chemistry. I really struggled academically in form 3.
Nipea trauma.
Niko na trauma pia mimi. Pia mimi niko na trauma.
Hapo ndio Kamande alithrive.
Tusita kile kitu trauma lakini.
Of course, right to me because I want we all relate to I feel this way about this thing.
And I think form 3 is when I had my first boyfriend.
That's what's up.
Lakini
yeah, that is,
boyfriend wa kuandikia na mail. Sasa hiyo ni
Achana na mole concept. Acha she doesn't mole concept.
I think alikuwa starehe start. Kamtutu fulani hapo.
Shida ni kamtu, shida si mole concept. The reason tuna struggle si mole concept.
Hapana. Saka relationship ilikuwa ya kuandikiana mail hata muonani holiday time. Hiyo ilikuwa relationship.
Because every time you go into class, the first thing you do ni kutoa writing pad. The whole prep time.
Wewe mbona unanienjoy?
Sijui nyi kama maboy mlikuwa mnafanya hivyo, but like did your friends used to help you to write my letters?
Yeah, they did.
It was a group effort.
And then before you know it, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, okay.
All you've done the whole prep time
Is to write
is to
candidates,
kuandika letter.
sentences.
That was me.
Yeah.
Rosafi bana. Hiyo tu hiyo form
Ndio
3.
hiyo.
Ai, ilikuwa kuandika maleta tu. That's all we did bana. Unaingia zinivibe na story. Afungua desk, unaangalia picha ya Nikki.
Nikki Sunday yule.
Yes.
Nikki for the Gen Zs ni Sheila Mwanyiga.
Sheila Mwanyiga.
Oh, that Nikki.
that
Nikki. That
Oh,
Inside
not
our
Nicki
inside.
Minaj. Oh,
No,
wow,
I
yeah,
thought
there's
Nikki was
another.
just some girl from
Angalia picha.
umetoa kwa
Unajua?
inside hiyo picha.
Sheila Mwanyiga hiyo nilikuwa nimeikata from gazette. Stick hapo tu nika jela. But anyway, so you at least on the other side of Nairobi kuna kaboy kastach.
Kuna kaboeka starch pahali.
Yeah.
But that didn't last long.
Of course, maboy wa starch jo. Wow.
Pia relationships za high school.
No, pia maboy wa starch though.
Wamedu.
Watu tumekuwa na guest kadhaa wa starch hapa, wacha wasikam kututafuta. But all good. Let's talk about boys in that season.
Wow.
Did you remember?
I came here to talk about boys.
No, we came here to talk about Busy Being Born. The difference between you interacting with guys from out of Nairobi and guys within Nairobi. Ulikuwa unaona ungejua uni wa Jamu na uni wa Eldoret.
Sasa venye tulienda form 3 ndio sasa tulienda Chava Kali.
Okay.
Yenyewe kulikuwa na kaushamba, but I think mademu wa Nairobi tu tulikuwa na maringo tu.
Yeah.
Tuanze tu hapo. But nakumbuka maboy wa Chava. Yani pia hata kukuongelesha tu ilikuwa shida. I think tulikuwa tu very different playing fields.
Yeah.
Yani the best way someone could talk to you ni akuja kuongelesha kuhusu weather ama kuhusu
ama mmeanza kutumia ilikuwa inaitwaje ile kitabu?
Kitu tu
Gani?
Ile kitabu ya logbook.
Unasoma Abbott.
Exactly.
But maboy wanai walikuwa nakaa. Kulikuwa na kaswag fulani.
Okay. So what are you telling yourself as a young girl? Yeah, what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself I deserve better? Are you stuck? No, like tuko hapa for growth. Tuko hapa for growth. What are you telling yourself? What narrative are you telling yourself? Uko I think mimi nikianza kuangalia around and dating more seriously, maybe nitachorea watu wa Chava or something around that. What are you telling yourself?
For me ilikuwa hiyo kwenda out of town ilikuwa tu momentarily, haikuwa ati nikituitatani kwa kitu serious.
Okay.
So ilikuwa ni kama boy waocha ni waocha tu, tutaenda huko na tuache huko turudi kwa hii Nairobi yetu. Plus Dani ati pia nilikuwa na hiyo self awareness kusema ati this is what I deserve, I'm worthy of. Si Dani pia ulikuwa ni utoi tu and you're just enjoying and having fun.
Going with the flow.
And going with the flow pia.
Okay.
What's your most memorable experience about your time at Quabbz?
The creativity. Wacha nikuambie. Hiyo shule watu walikuwa very creative. People would make songs. We used to have events for ourselves where people would design gowns, dresses with bed sheets. Yani there's a way we just knew how to make fun for ourselves. And pia, as I'm saying, there were so many creative outlets in that school. And those are the things that made me survive in that school. Yeah. So the creativity and also some of the friendships I made. Because Abu Hadi wa leo I actually have a chama with some of the ladies I was with from my class, and it's an investment chama, so imenisaidia kimaisha, and those relationships have really kept them.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Quabbz ndio hiyo.
What happens
next? Where are we going?
Okay. After Quabbz, nikaingia university. I didn't wait to be called by Jab. Sikungoja. Pia wazazi hawakutaka ningoje. Nikaingia USIU. I finished in 2009, and then I joined USIU in 2010. So for that 1 year ilikuwa exploration, kwenda kudiscover tao kuna kaaje. Na hiyo time nilikuwa nafanya hizi computer packages, so at least you get to randa. And it was my first time kuget kujua matatu routes. Juu nikiwa high school sikupanda mat sana, maybe ile tu kwenda home midterm ama holiday kwenda shule. That's it. Sikuwa napanda matatu sana. So hiyo ndio ilikuwa time yangu ya discovery.
In USIU?
In the gap year. In that
year.
Year. So I did computer packages. ICDL. Afterwards tunaenda hapo Lifestyle Mall. I don't know if that's what it's still called, squeezy.
It's called something else. Hazina Towers, yeah?
Hazina something Towers.
Hapo ndio tulikuwa tunaenda.
It has Hazina zati.
Kuona tu boy hapa na pale.
You know, when you say 2010,
part of you it's a different.
No, it's like it's the same, around the same phase, because that's when I was in campus, right? I was maybe in my second year of uni, and then I was traveling as well. So it's on one part it feels like it's such a long time ago, and then on the other it's so close. Then you realize years are really passing by. They're flying. It feels like just the other day when I think about Lifestyle, because Lifestyle was a very popular spot.
It was. And I think for many years.
Yeah, for many years.
For many youths.
Yeah, for many youths. I remember mazi kutoka kampo tukienda hapo Lifestyle, kubai I don't know what you could afford, juice na soda and just chill hapo. There used to be a back street hapo
hapo katikati ya stairs na
yes.
watu walikuwa wanaenda kukunywa kufanya mihadarati but me I was not interacting.
No, definitely not.
No, for real, this is true. I actually started kama ni kukunywa
ni kweli.
Spendi vile mnaongea like me, I would say I'm a late bloomer because I started even drinking way after campo.
Much later.
Much later.
Yeah.
So in that period as well, my friend Marianne and some other friends of ours, we formed a singing group. So I don't even know where we were going to perform. We were 4 of us, I think. I'm trying to remember. Yes, I think we were 4 of us and we formed a singing group and we used to rehearse every other day. And then one of us had a parent who was running a mental health organization. So at that point, we used to visit, I think, teach as well and go and sing at the institution. And then at that point, they told us to come up with a song for the organization. So I think that was also my first experience with songwriting. Yeah, in that group. That group didn't last for long. Tulingia campo, people's
Life happened.
Yeah, life happened. People's dreams changed.
Yeah. What was the name of the group?
Syria Muziki. Actually, I've remembered who started the group. A friend of mine called Wabi ndio alianzisha hiyo group.
Wabi. Like
you know
the
Wabi? A short girl.
Oh, look,
sweet girl. Very.
Had someone different.
Not Webby. Not Webby. Another lady called Wabi. Wamboi, short for Wamboi.
Yeah.
She formed the group and it was called Syria Muziki. And then years later, she formed a company called Syria Muziki that teaches kids music.
Because the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it exists now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, see. So USIU, what are you studying? How are you balancing life?
But nilingia, I studied journalism. It's not something I was passionate about. I just knew I was good at English, at languages. Nilipita English na languages. I think sikuwa najua nini nataka kudu after campo. I mean, after high school. I didn't know. So I just picked something. And I think journalism was the closest. I liked reading books then. Hey, my reading culture has really...
It's very interesting because when you say nilifanya journalism because nilikuwa good at English, it sounds like something that you could easily point a lot of people, maybe even turning their lens on myself. Ulifanya nini? Nilisoma Mao. Kwa nini nilipita Mao high school?
Imagine. Na sikuwa najua nini nataka kufanya at that point. Juu kuna wase usema wanajuanga from the time they were in primary, me I want to be a doctor. Me I want to be... I don't think I had a real sense of what exactly. And sometimes I feel it's very unfair to put an expectation at someone who's... I mean, nilimaliza high school nilikuwa 17. An expectation on a 17-year-old to know what they're supposed to do with the rest of their life. That is true. I'm not sure that's a very fair expectation of someone at that age. Haujui. Yani you don't know. You just don't know. So I think that's why I chose journalism. And nilikuwa good at languages. I liked reading. So I was like, why not? Went to USIU. It was a very good school. Hey, when I say my years in campo were blah, I think also it's because maybe I never really found a niche in what I was doing. Because also as I told you off camera, off mic, that I never really went into journalism even as a career. So when I got into USIU, I decided to choose broadcast journalism and PR. That's what I majored in. They were good years. Again, another highlight for USIU was joining the choir.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, not theatre kimasomo. It was joining the choir. Also here I really grew in my confidence because haikuwa kuimba na watu tu. They would give people a chance to lead songs as soloists. And one day I decided, wacha nijaribu tu. Let me step and do this thing. In spite of the fear, nifanye tu. After all, si ni kitu napenda kufanya, wacha nifanye tu. And I remember it was one of a USIU event. Tulikuwa tumealika watu wa Daystar, sijui wapi. And I sang and I didn't die. And I really remember that moment because I decided to step outside of myself to do something that really made me very, very fearful. And I enjoyed it and I loved it very much. Yeah, for my campo days, sijui masomo ilikuwa poa, nilikuwa napita. And then also now, I think everything just points back to music. When I was in Campo, I decided to join Sauti Academy. I joined in 2010. I joined Sauti Academy in 2012. I was 2 years into my campus life. Because I felt like nimefika pahali sasa, I know I enjoy the music. I know I'm somewhat good at it. Let me see how I can make my skills a bit better. So I joined Sauti Academy in 2012. It was a 1-year program. Split.
What is Sauti Academy?
So, unfortunately, it was closed down. But Sauti Academy was a program being run by a teacher, a Mzungu teacher called Natalie Lukena. She had come from the Netherlands and came to Kenya to set up shop. I think she was trained in a music school and she wanted to be a teacher. So I don't know what brought her to Kenya, sikumbuki, but she decided to set up shop and do what she calls an artist development program. So that's take an artist, take you through songwriting, vocal prowess, learning some vocal skills, and learning a bit about the music business. So that was the program. So the first term was songwriting and vocals. Second term, music business. Third term was putting up a concert for yourselves and also doing some community service. Yeah, so in 2012, that's what I did. Went into Sauti Academy again, auditioned. It was nerve-wracking, but I guess not as much as the choir experience in high school. Yeah. Went in, auditioned, and was taken in to get into the program. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. Kwanza being with like-minded people, because we were in a class of 13, but by the time we graduated, we were only 6. Yeah, so in a class of 13, getting to interact with like-minded people, getting to write songs in groups or individually, getting individual lessons with Natalie, and then finally, in the end, getting to organize a concert for yourself, inviting people to come and participate. So I think that was I would call it my first music industry experience.
Okay.
Yes.
And at this point, what are you thinking about your degree? Because clearly, the highlight of your campus life is outside of campus. It's away from campus.
I actually did enjoy some classes in school. Kulikuwa na creative writing that I really, really enjoyed. I'm trying to see some of the PR classes. I quite enjoyed advertising. In broadcast was so. Because I never saw myself being in front of the camera. Even behind the scenes, I don't think I had that much interest in being behind the camera or being in a radio, being a producer. Because I was trying to see, guys, what kind of career am I going to get into after I do this journalism? It still wasn't clear, even in Campo. It still wasn't clear.
Yeah.
So
and at any point, did you ask yourself the question, why am I doing this?
In my head, nilikuwa nafikiria, it's not a bad course.
Okay.
Wacha nifanye tu. And then my dad always used to tell me, okay, I also did it for my parents, because wanalipia fees, sinimalize tu, nipite tu, na nimalize. And then my dad used to tell me, music is also communication. So you're studying communication, but just put it then use your music as a tool
of communication.
Yeah. They are not far apart. And he's the one who taught me the concept of transferable skills. That unaweza kuwa umefanya kitu kwa course ingine, but find a way to link that skill into the thing that you want to do or into the thing that you are doing that may not necessarily be that other thing yenye umesomea. So that's where I learned that, and he's the one who truly taught me that hakuna education inakuanga wasted. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's what I took away from the campus experience. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. You've just mentioned your dad. So let's bring the family into the picture. At what point do they know that you sing? At what point do you realize that they've realized that you're good?
Sing. First in high school, because I came and told them tunaenda music fests. So yeah, that's when they knew, and they fully supported it. Haikuwa ile ati no daughter of mine will become a singer. No, my parents always have always supported the journey.
Yeah.
So in high school, in Form 2, when I attended my first music, I'm not even sure I told them I had joined the choir. I told them when ikifika masaa ya kwenda fest ndio niliwaambia tunaenda fest sasa.
Okay.
Na waka support tu. Sasa nikiwa Campo ndio nikienda kujoin. Nilifanya research, and then that friend of mine I had mentioned called Meryl had been in Sauti Academy the year before me. And she had told me the experience and how it had helped her grow and how she's getting some opportunities.
From Quabbz.
From Quabbz, from high school. She's now called Meryl Page, and she does R&B music. Very beautiful voice. And then mumtafute.
Tumemsikiza.
Umemsikiza? ndio huyo. So she told me about her experience in Sauti and how she's now getting some opportunities to perform. And I was like, maybe that's something that can be a viable option for me. Because I've realized I really love music and I really love singing. And I also now told my parents, because there was a cafe required.
Of course.
So nawalamba kidogo now, and that's also why I had to maintain my grades ndio nikiwa kampo. Lazima nipate marks poa ndio pia nikifanya hii muziki
isikai na kudistract.
Isikai na distract. So yeah, that's also when my parents knew, and that's when I kind of let them know naanza kuchukulia hii muziki seriously.
Yeah.
What is when is the first time they see you perform? What is that first concert or something?
In 2012 at the Sauti Academy concert. Yeah, that was the first time. So and then also at least wanaona penye pesa yao imeenda.
Yeah.
And they're seeing something that has come into fruition.
Yeah. And what's their reaction?
They were like, well done. Alafu unajua lakini African parents, there is a certain threshold of reaction or emotion that they can't portray. But it was mostly,
we learned from our last episode, they are fathers and mothers.
Not moms and dads.
Not moms and dads.
Yeah, they are fathers. Si wagumu hivyo. And then also I should mention, in 2012, my bros were in the entertainment industry. They auditioned for Big Brother Africa. And they got in. I think it was in...
Who are your bros?
What is called Malonza Chege.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Alec Mugashia Chege.
Look at that.
Chege.
You know, in person, niko nakujua. Niko sikujui like kujua personally. But niko, I see this face and it's familiar. Like tunajua vile siblings ufanana. Of course you're gorgeous and all. Niko, yeah, there's something in there.
Now it makes
It
sense.
makes some sense.
Dots in a joint.
And that's also the reason why my parents were very receptive. Juu tayari, my bros wako in the entertainment industry. Walikuwa Big Brother, they went to South Africa. I think they were in the season, the one Prezo was in. Neo. Me, I never watched
around
it, to
that
be honest.
Kigondo and I were big fans of Big
Brother.
Brother.
Big Brother at that
Oh,
time.
man.
And Hood, I think
Who was
it
our favorite
the,
guy?
Was it the
Africa guy? Who was your favorite guy? Mine was always Munya.
Munya.
Uti.
Na kulikuwa na, who was the Ugandan? Okay, sawa, tumeenda kwingine. Yes. But the brothers.
They were there. My parents supported them all through. They even used to watch that a bit. A bit miss kwa na watch. Nilikuwa na wasupport tu kwa mbali.
Shower hour.
Not necessary.
One of your bros went on to host a show.
He went on to TV. He hosted a show called Tujuane. I think.
There you go.
Yes,
There you go.
Yes. So he did that for a while.
Yeah.
And then of course unajua industry vile ni ngumu, he decided to put a pause on that.
Yeah.
So also in a way, yeye pia ndo alipave the way for even me to be able to think that
pick your path.
Doing music could be a viable. Yeah, he's the one who opened that door.
So you've told us about where your brothers are, where your family is, how they're reacting to you and music. Turudi hapo tu kwa concert yako ya kwanza. Who is in your audience besides your parents?
Na kwanza your concert, because I've told you we started out as 13 students, tuka end up tukiwa wasita. So it was the 6 of us putting the show together.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
We get someone to do sound, put a band together, do everything so that we get the experience, and then we are the ones in charge of ticketing and who to invite and making sure the audience is full.
This is a good cause.
It really was. But unfortunately, during COVID times, she had to close down.
Yeah.
So now she's only doing private classes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So who's in your audience? And two, who are your cohort mates?
Do I remember all of them? I act like I'm an old person. Like in my memory sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you want to know the names or?
Well, you could share. Pia unaweza chorea.
Okay. I remember Peter Nyabuto. He's now, I think, in an orchestra and trying to make his way into doing solo music. There was a lady called Ndila who I was also in USIU with, but I think now she's in a totally different career path. A lady called Shiro Mutero who ended up being a lawyer. Andrew Ambua, who had been in the industry for quite a long time and still releasing music. And lastly, a guy called Silas Miami, who ended up, I think, going into the film industry, but in South Africa. Unamjua?
In the
Yes.
film industry.
Yeah, Mbona,
It's a familiar name.
hiyo imekuja
Ania
sidebar,
kusema
sidebar.
Pana, kusema unajua, tell us more. Niyo,
So those were my classmates, and in the audience was of course my parents, my bros, my friends, anyone I had invited. I think tulikuwa na jukumu ya kuinvite 20 people each. We were supposed to fill up the Michael Joseph Center in Safaricom, but in that time Safaricom used to give out a hall for free called the Michael Joseph Center, where people could put up concerts, anything arts related. Also now I think it closed down since COVID times. Sidani they are back to doing that. So yeah, that was who was in my audience.
Okay. The reason I asked this is now moving forward. Tutakuja tu kwa your concerts now and how you're putting it all together and all the lessons you translated from that first experience to what you guys are doing now at Wanavokali. So we'll visit that when we come to Wanavokali. Aya, tumalize kampo. Tunamaliza, tumeenda sasa, imebidi tumesomea hii, kwa hivyo tufanye hii kitu in real life ama what are we doing?
Haya, nilimaliza nika graduate. I had tried doing an internship. We had the option of either choosing to do an internship or to do a project. Nilitafuta, nikaona what field can I go in? Nikaona PR, wacha tujaribu advertising kidogo. Looked for nilitamak for quite a while. Nikakosa atacho. Nika decide I'll do a project. So I actually did a documentary of the randomest things. I did a documentary about hair.
Wow.
And more specifically natural hair, because I think at that time is when I was getting into the natural hair movement. Actually all my campo life nilikuwa hivi tu, sikuwa na nywele, nilikuwa nimenyoa, and for me it was very easy because that's how I've always seen my mom. My mom has always had short hair, so nilikuwa like, sasa mbona nangangana na hizi vitu zingine, wacha tu nikate nywele. So my documentary was about hair and the perceptions people have on natural hair, the social political perceptions, nini. Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I graduated.
And the docu, docu is part of you finishing.
It's part of me finishing, because I didn't get to do an internship.
Yeah.
The option was to do a project.
Yeah.
So the documentary was my project.
Okay.
And it was something I liked, and I decided, why not? Let me go for it. So I interviewed people in school, did the camera work, did the editing. It was quite it was a tough, ilikuwa pia a tough time, and that made me realize for sure this is not something I enjoy. I will do it out of necessity because I have to, nitaifanya. But hiyo fulfillment ama joy ama nini sikuwa nayo kabisa. So luckily I finished in 2014, and then through Natalie, who was my teacher in Sauti Academy, I got an opportunity to do background vocals in Coke Studio. But not for the duration. It was Coke Studio season 2. I think there were already background vocalists, but they needed people to come in the capacity of like a choir. Just they needed many vocals. So I got called to do that, and I did background vocals for a Nigerian artist called Omaumi and a Mozambican artist called Jose Valdemiro. And then the next year I was also called again to do background vocals for a Ugandan artist called Maurice Kiria.
Wow.
So doing something at that scale, doing background vocals at that scale. And mind you, I also didn't have much information about how the industry was, avenues to earn income. Sikuwa najua. That would also have been my first experience properly being paid to do something that I love to do.
Yeah.
So it was a very nice experience, and especially to do it at that scale, at that level where people are so professional. So that was my idea of how the music industry would look like. Yani things are running on time. Watu wanalipwa tu vizuri. Lo and behold, mambo hayako hivi. Uko mbele
ground literally different.
And because of that experience, it also proved to my parents that, haya, kumbe, you can earn some good money doing this thing. And also that 2014 is when I put out my first single. Yes, called Kijana. And that was again through the help of my parents, because there's no way I would have been able to come up with enough money to record, to shoot a video. Hata sikuwa najua about promotion by then. So I wouldn't have been able to do all those things without the support of my parents. And I should also mention, at that point, my father became my manager.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. He said he really wanted to support me in my career, and because he and my mom have a practice pamoja, veterinary services. Again, the concept of transferable skills. Alikuwa like, see me, I know how to run a business. And you as an artist, wewe si msanii tu, you are a business. That's also the first time I got that concept of msanii ni brand ama ni entity. You're not just a single person releasing music. You have to, I guess, put yourself in a situation where you think of yourself as a business. So he was like, see mimi, I run a business. Mbona nisitumie hizo skills? Hata kama sijui music industry, why don't I use those skills to help you kind of try to navigate? Yes.
So at this point, I guess, actually no, I guess it's very clear that you have full clarity that this is what you want to do with your life. Like this is beyond any doubt.
Yes.
Okay. So your dad coming in as a manager, that's a twist that I did not.
So it was the same for me. Yeah.
So we've seen this arc of him not knowing that he can sing, or in primary school, and then learning. At what point does he, like, is it the concert that fully shifts his thinking about this? Is it your bros? Where do you think that it all sort of crystallized for him? That
I think it would probably be the concert, because then that's something tangible that you can see. I think it would be that concert.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. Then let's go back to what you talked about in Coke Studio, because you mentioned Maurice Kiri. I'm like, wow, madness.
And you saw
that one we know.
That one you know.
I think he actually quit music. Is it this year or last year? I think so. I saw that somewhere. Yeah. But mziki ni hard. I understand. I would understand.
But it was a big deal in like UG. He was like king of R&B or something.
I don't know. Or maybe he's moving on to something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
Different.
Maybe it's just busy being born.
Yeah, that is true.
All that.
Other than you seeing the professionality of how things can be run and run really well, in these 2 years of you doing Coke Studio, any other lessons that you picked up?
I think as well preparation, because I would see how the background vocalists at the time were Mayonde, I think, Trina Mungai and Evelyn Mtua. I would see how much they would rehearse, and cameras zikiroll, hakuna time ya era. You have to have been prepared. You have to have known what you're singing. And people also assume background vocals is such a small role. But it's also the seriousness with which that role is taken. Because the focus is mainly on the artist and maybe the instrumentalist. Often background vocalists are, as in the name suggests, are in the background. So it's also seeing that role being given its proper place. Yeah. And a wild tangent that if you think about how life exists, like everything is based on a background. Like you're looking at me, the only way you're able to see me is if there's a background. Those two things are the same thing, and none exists without the other. So when people trivialize like background vocals, it's the background upon which this someone is performing. True.
If you take away the background artist, is there anything really? It's hard to like make up like what's really happening there. I think.
Tuendelee. The Kijana is out.
Kijana.
What is going on here around you trying to put it out there? So is it just SoundCloud? Ama do you now have to call people, radio stations? Ama ulikuwa nadhani tu nikitoa ngoma na ninoma hii Nairobi tunatesa.
Very naively nilikuwa na yoka. Hiyo notions. Ndio nakwambia I didn't know that there is even an element of promotion. Kusukumia watu wa radio. So what happened is I decided I'm going to release a song, looked for a producer. Uzuri, because of Sauti Academy, I had some networks of people who had worked with producers before. So finding a producer and instrumentalist to work with was not the hardest bit. At least I had that in check. Now, ikikuja kwa video, I decided, also when I was doing my research, nilipata J Blessing. And I was like, this is a video director who has been in the industry for long. He knows what he's doing. I shopped around, called different people. I honestly, I can't remember who, because it was 2014. I just remember J Blessing, because that's the person who I ended up working with. And he told me that he'd shoot the video, also help to do promotion, help to push it to radio stations, nini. But that was not the complete reality of it. I think I went into it a bit naively. And also without the connections, without the know-how. Just like any artist starting off, haujui kitu. And mind you, see at I'm starting off, at least I have some background of nimeenda Sauti Academy, nimeenda wapi. So I can imagine how hard it is for an artist who starting from scratch, how hard it must be. I think the thing that truly helped me is that I had support. The support of my parents, the support of my fans, the support of my former Sauti Academy classmates. So that network are what gave the video views, the 20,000 views it has now. At least I had, nilipata 2 views hapa na pale. Do I remember if I ever had it on radio? I don't think so. I didn't do any social media promotion. I don't even know if people are doing social media promo. 2014 watu walikuwa nafanya. I can't remember. But it didn't go as planned. When you think about the amount of effort and the amount of money you've put vis-a-vis the outcome, haikuwa ina make hazikuwa zinaambatana, hazikuwa zina make so much sense.
Yeah. And what is Kamande likes to say internal narrative. What's the internal narrative? What are you telling yourself now that hazijaenda vile unataka? Na you still want to do this music thing. That is, if this is the thing you still wanted to go on doing.
So I had decided to go the direction of non-mainstream music. Plus, coming from Sauti Academy, we were not making mainstream music. You were making what Kenya unataka, what feeds your soul, whatever it is you want to write. It was not with a commercial element in mind. It was niche. It was very, very, very niche. So nikaanza kujambia ama hii mziki natengeneza, because it was a neo soul kind of song. Ilikuwa like, hey, hii ni mziki yenye wa Kenya hata usikiza kweli. Like hiyo tu kujidoubt. And then I do know there are avenues like Capital which can play some types of music. Yeah, si lazima ichezwe tu ki some of the mainstream elements. But I remember there was a feeling of this is triumphant because it's an idea I have set in motion and I've actually seen it come to light. There's that part that's very exciting. And then the doubts of whether is this the type of music now I should be doing. Maybe I should consider collaborating with a rapper. Maybe. A lot of doubts.
Yeah.
Yes. Not about me, about the product. Yeah.
Okay. And is there like a lot of thought and preparation for this particular song, Kijana? Is it something you've been writing for years? Amani, like how did that come about?
I think on the fly too, as I was saying,
on the fly.
I didn't have that notion of also writing something ndio hit, writing something ndio sijui nini ifanyike. Nilikuwa tu naandika from the heart, I guess.
Kwa hivyo hata kukuwa na hiyo pressure, this is your first jam.
I didn't have that kind of. There's a certain innocence. Even when we talk about Wanavokali, this is what I'll say. When we're releasing our debut album, there's a certain innocence that album has, because it's you presenting to the world what you want them to get from you. And once that is out and you're in the industry for a while, it kind of gets tainted, because now the expectations of, and especially after releasing Rumba, you have a hit. How do you now make another hit? And because a hit sometimes translates to more money. So that's actually, I will be honest and say currently that's where you are. Where we are. It's the balance of commercializing the music and maintaining the artistic integrity. Finding a middle ground or deciding which is the way. And I don't know if there's an answer, and I don't think there's an answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. So Kijana, and you know, whatever happens, you've poured a good part of your soul into this. How do you go from here? How do you still maintain that fire, that this is really what I want to do? Or at some point does it get you to a place where you're thinking, man, what's this? I might just go back and do broadcast journalism.
Ningeingia tu job. Which at that point, hata my mama alikuwa asema, utafute tu kazi.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, on the other hand, is encouraging me, but at the same time, as a businessman, trying to think, hii kitu tutaifanyaje sasa ipate pesa. And I don't think we actually found the solution to that. I will nitaongelelea, but yeah, that's where his mindset was at that point. For me, I was still in that innocence of, I want to create. This is me. Mi nataka kufanya
This never phased you.
Not at that point. Yeah, not at that point. Mi nilikuwa nataka tu create, and I think I went ahead and released 3 more songs
Oh.
after that. I think they were 3 because I recorded them all at the same time. Also, by this time I had the notion of money. How much money am I spending to do this thing, and what is the most affordable way to do it, which is recording in bulk. So at least by then I had known how to maneuver through this thing. Yeah, that's where I was. And in between that, now I got opportunities to do more background vocals. In 2015, as I mentioned, I went back to Coke Studio, and then through Natalie, again, my teacher, I got a gig to do background vocals for a show for MCSK, the Music Copyright Society of Kenya. They did a huge show at Kani to commemorate Kenyan artists. Because I remember we were doing background vocals for artists wengine wa kitambo, like there was this lady called Mary Otieno mwenye alimba Adamu na Eva walitenda dhambi asili. Those were the kind of Esther Wahome, those were the kind of artists we were doing background vocals for. What were the people who paved the way for us? They were legends in the music industry. And I remember that was quite a big deal for me, being able to get such a platform like that. So as much as na record muziki yangu, pole pole pia napata industry experience as I go, and as a background vocalist. And I think that could have been the best position to be in, because it's in a position where you observe, you get to see what's happening. And then again, I will say I'm not the kind of person who likes the spotlight on me. So I think that's why background vocals worked really well, because I'm still doing what I love, but pressure haiko.
You're not on the line.
Yeah. Pressure haiko kwangu. Mimi I'm a supporting vocalist. Yeah.
And is this how now you're sustaining yourself? Umeamua sasa ni mziki tuende nayo?
Nimeamua niyo, but over the years and also working with Wanavokali, I've realized there are some skills I have that I want to channel into doing something else. It's just the figuring of that something else, what it is, either management or events or even PR.
Okay.
Yeah, because to be honest, music, it can pay, but it has its seasons. And there are quite a number of challenges.
Yeah.
And then also being in a group of 6. So I do background vocals and also Wanavokali.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wanavokali, we are a group of 6. So you can imagine when the money comes, splitting it 6 ways and saving some for the
biashara.
Yeah. It's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
Let's connect to how we get to Wanavokali. Yeah. The first one, sijui ama nitazikumbuka, nikaona vitu tatu in mind. Yeah. The first time I hear you. Yeah. Because even Ahadi for me came much later. The first time I hear you is on Love and Respect and Repeat.
Oh, with Erosh.
Yeah. Huge fan of Erosh. Tena sana. So niko, who's this chick? Then that's when I get into Wanavokali. Niko, this is who they are. Then South Africa comes calling, and we are screaming and going, those are people. Who are they though? Want to read on them, hear more stuff from them. So how do we get to Wanavokali? But even then, at some point unajulikana as, what's the word? Socio-political sort of singer, una commentate on what's going on with the Hadi and all.
Song moja tu, just
and everyone
song.
Is labeling
the rest
you
now.
Now.
Vibes.
Because now reading about you from Love and Respect, Nico, this chick is like a Giuliani or some sort. Kumbe it was one song. Because this is what ilikuwa inakusumbua. But how did you tuanze tu nitakuwa 10 million questions tuanze.
Actually, Hadi, I think, when did I release it? Sijui kama ilikuwa post an election period. It was my dad's idea.
Oh, okay.
It was like, why don't we write a song? Actually, apart from manager, he was also now co-songwriter for our
the vet is discovering his creative.
But I learned that my dad is also the person teaching me that you don't have to be just one thing in life, because he's a vet, but he also has political ambitions.
Specialization is for insects.
Oh, political ambition.
Yeah, he ran for MP of his hometown. In 2007. He has akona ambitions mob sana umse. So they are the embodiment of, my dad is the embodiment of a dreamer, my mom is the embodiment of a doer. So sasa combined, they work quite well, and that's something they've taught me: dream but also do. Yeah, that's something I've really learned from my parents. So anyway, during that period, my dad akani advice, try song inaitwa Hadi. I wouldn't say that it came from a place of sasa I feel the need to speak about the current.
Vitu,
I could, to be honest, haikutoka hapo. Ningependa itoke hapo, lakini haikutoka hapo. Yeah, that's where that song came from. But aside from that, most of my songs I just wrote from my heart, from what I was feeling at the time, from vibes before we knew what to call them. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think then that's where my solo career kind of took a pause. In 2017, it was an election year. That was actually, when I look back, it was one of the toughest times being a musician. Hakuna kazi. It was tough. It was tough. Hakuna events, hawezi perform. And also, mind you, as a solo artist, I'm also not at that level where I'm being called for big gigs. So again, BGV jobs are sustaining me, and also singing for artists in studio. Those are the things that were sustaining me. But also I was still living at home, so at least nikona ka cushioning kidogo. But pia wazazi wako like, hey, it's been 3 years tangu graduate. So like what do you have to show for those 3 years zenye umekuwa out of campo? Kulikuwa na pressure kanaanza ku build up. 2018 May, I decided to audition for Safaricom Twaweza Live. It's not something that was publicized. I had just seen it a poster doing the rounds on WhatsApp. I think Natalie also forwarded it to me. And so I went for the audition. There were so many people. I had that. There were 2 days of auditions. I had that in total in Nairobi, 400 vocalists showed up to audition for the position of background vocals for Safaricom Twaweza Live. Luckily, when I went for the audition, Natalie was one of the judges. Wow. But also there was Tim Rimbui, Mutoria at the time. Mutoria was coming up. Ben Sol was also a judge. And actually Ben Sol and Mutoria worked with us closely in the tour. But yeah, auditioned and it went really, really well. Got amazing feedback. I think the next 2 or 3 days, we got a message that we start rehearsals the following week. So we auditioned, all 6 of us in Wanavokali. Myself, Ricky, Sam, Lina, Mela. And there was another lady called Njoki Munyi who does gospel. She's quite big in the gospel industry. She decided that she didn't want to do gospel background vocals in the show. So that's how we got Chep, who replaced Njoki in the show. Who Chep is now a member of our group. Yeah, so that's 6 of us. Somehow, luckily, we auditioned and we got in.
So you guys did not know each other?
I knew some from Campo University. We were in choir pamoja, but we were not that close. And I had also met Lina. One of the choir events we had where Daystar came, Lina was in Daystar and we had met during one of those choir things. So zinaada hivi tu. Kidogo. But yeah, we auditioned in the capacity of background vocalists. So our work was to support the main artists who were performing. Safaricom Twaweza Live was a program by Safaricom, kind of like to give back to the community. And they would do that in the way of medical camps and putting on shows in different towns in Kenya.
Yeah.
So we got to tour Kenya. Tulienda Meru, Eldoret, Mombasa, Kisumu before the tour was cut abruptly. This was almost for 8 months. 8 months to a year tulikuwa pamoja. Seeing each other every day. Also, this was my first full-time job as a musician.
Sweet gig.
It was sweet. Hey. Pesa mzuri. Sijawahi lipwa salo kukuwa mwanamuziki. We were being paid a very nice salary to meet every day of the week, Monday to Friday, rehearsing full day. And then that's 3 weeks in a month. Then the last week we go out of town to do the show. Very, very nice.
And you're doing this for different artists?
For many artists. So how it was divided, there were 2 bands because the work was too much to have just one band perform for all the artists. So we had a band with instrumentalists and 3 BGVs, another band with other instrumentalists and 3 BGVs. That's why we were 6 of us. Okay. It was amazing. From the rehearsals to the show, PIE, like reminiscent of Coke Studio, was seeing production being done at such a high level. Professionalism at a different level. It also showed me the possibilities of what this artistry can do for you, even just as a background vocalist. Because also in the industry, as I'm saying, BGVs are also overlooked. We are quite overlooked. But over time, I've come to learn we add so much to our show. Na bado ni kazi. It's not indignifying. Just because you're not the one on the main stage doesn't mean you're not important. That's what I've come to learn. And for me, it's it's amazing because it supports also how I am as a person. Because also for me, like the main goal is not fame. The main goal for me is to produce music and to produce timeless music. That's in whatever form, in whatever shape, that's what I want. I don't want that fame. The fame is a byproduct of everything that I am doing. It's not the end goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So safari umeuliza wasanii walikuwa wengi. I could mention a few. We're working with new school artists kama Vivian. Trying to remember the new school ones. Anyway, let me just mention them, like Vivian, King Kaka, Nyash, Masika, Willie Paul, the gospel artists, Bahati, all the who's who you can think about.
Yeah.
At the industry, in the industry at the time, which was 2018, were the ones who were doing the show.
Yeah. Can you maybe spend 1 minute or two describing the process of actually practicing for a BGV? Because you have like all these artists, it's like 3 of you, right? And you have to learn the songs. How do you practice that? Is there music that's already written? How does it work?
So our process was, we would be told this and this artist is coming this week for rehearsals, and these are the songs they're doing. Listen to the songs. If there are any BGV parts, learn them. If not, we meet together and actually try and figure out where we feel we need to put harmony. So we'd have to rehearse first before meeting with the band. Then now during the official rehearsals, we have the band, so they're playing for the artists. So also some things that the band does informs the kind of vocals that you're going to do. So with the practice we've done before, amend it kidogo to fit in with the band. If the band is taking some time to learn the music, maybe we can step away on our own, still figure the parts as the band also learns the parts. That was basically the process. But for the first show, which was in Meru, I remember we were all panicked because all these other shows we had 3 weeks to rehearse. For Meru, we had some days.
Wow.
Because I think the audition call was done very late. Hiyo hatukuwa tunalala. Tuko kwa hoteli, tumefika Meru ni kurihas. And then you've gotten such a utaipata job kama hiyo. That's how you feel. You'll never get a job like that. So you need to prove your worth. You need to prove your value in that production. Utaki kuchoma kabisa. So we'd really rehearse kabisa. And when we'd go for the shows, we'd have to do a run through of the entire show. First tata tukiwa Nairobi kwa rehearsals. We do a run through of the entire show, time it, and then when we go out of town, still do a proper run through, a technical run, kila kitu na lights, all the production with the band, with the artist, and then now do a sound check. So it had to make sure kila kitu iko top notch kabisa.
Are there artists who go off script? So mko like, mna harmonize hapa labda guys.
Kabisa, kama wanaambia nyamazeni niimbie crowd. Yani kabisa, unajua on stage, I think preparation is just to be ukwe ready to on stage. Anything can happen. Anything can happen for sure. Na wasanii uko wamechizi, so they can do anything can happen.
What about the other way around? Other artists nasi lazima wa mention. Unaweza sema tu other artists ataingia uende mtu anafaa kwenda sauti kabisa. But usanii nimekuja kurealize about skill. Unfortunately huku si about skill ama ile talent uko nayo. What is it about?
I think ni image, bora unabamba wase. Ama unachezwa radio pia, cause pia nimerealize you can be a very good recording artist but live artistry ni tofauti. You can be hata from what we see about Nigerian artists, they are proper recording artists. They have really figured the formula. But ni kitu tofauti kabisa.
Okay. Burna Boy is the only one I've seen is able to do both. And he's come a long way as well.
Burna Boy. Hey, look at that. Okay, this is not tutaiphraseaje. Today tuta spotlight Wanavokali sana. Because we are here for Ythera. We should get maze tunafaa kuwa book sasa yenu.
Yes, na tutakam all 6 of us.
That would be dope.
Tutakaliana lakini tutakam.
We will make it happen.
Yes.
Abu is a magician. Atacheza kaya. So my question would be, how soon into working together do you realize, we actually want to be a group and we could have we have at least a couple of years together?
it wasn't too soon. We did the tour. Unajua, we are there reveling in the monies, enjoyment, unafurahia to the good things.
Yeah.
I think it's when there are difficult situations when you really have to innovate. So the tour ended very abruptly. It was cut short. It was supposed to culminate in a very big concert in Nairobi, but that didn't happen for reasons unknown to us. Haikufanyika. So tumeachwa kwa mata. Suddenly hauna hiyo pesa yenye ulikuwa una receive. Suddenly hakuna opportunities, kumekauka sana. So tukasema tunaimbanga vipoa sana pamoja. Tumeform chemistry. And we are friends and we enjoy working with each other. We had built a friendship over that 1 year period that we are working together. So tukafikiria, why not just come together and find a way to create opportunities for ourselves. There's power in numbers. So wacha tujaribu. So in 2019, in July, that was after some months, itwa ilisha 2018 November. Between November and July, tumeka kumekauka. That's the time in Twaweza, that's when I released Love, Respect, Repeat with Arosh. And then I think I put my solo career to for a pause kidogo. So tunajaribu kurudi kwa kutafuta makazi. Yani hakuna kitu. In July 2019 is officially we said let's release a cover. And because we already had worked with wasanii, tulianza kutoa covers za wasanii tulikuwa tumewaka na wao tayari tuko na arrangements za hizo vitu. It would have been ilikuwa rahisi kidogo. So tuka release cover ya Nameless of a song called Salary. That was our first ever Instagram post and it got, sijui kama ilikuwa 20,000 views. It got quite a lot of
Your
views.
first one.
First ever. No one knows who Wanavokali is. Ama Wanavokali. No one knew how to pronounce that name. Hatujulikani unless ni individually. No one knows us from Safaricom Twaweza. Hatujulikani kabisa. So it got a number of views. And also it got the support of Nameless. He put it on his socials and attacking on Njugush. A lot of people, Njugush had worked with us as an MC for Safaricom Twaweza. So it came back. A lot of the people who we had worked with supported us.
Endorsed.
Very much so. And that endorsement also meant a lot. I think that was the stepping stone to actually us having a hit song.
Yeah.
There are so many factors. So we released that song. Ikapata views, tuko na guy. Kumbe kitu inaweza work. Na siwezi sema ilikuwa intentional, ni kubahatisha. Tulibahatisha na somehow ikawak. It actually took off.
Yeah.
A month later, we saw another audition call to audition for a show called Old Mutual Amazing Voices, a competition. And we were like, hatujakaa pamoja for long. Tulikuwa as a group just 2 months, but we were like, tujaribu tu, hatujui kwenye opportunity itatupeleka. And I remember 2 of us didn't want to audition for that. But power in number, peer pressurized to hapo. And we auditioned for the show and we got in. That was in same year, 2019. And we ended up going to South Africa to compete. We didn't even know there was a possibility of us leaving the country to go and compete.
And they paid for it.
It. Wow, it was a nice trip. But not so nice because the work was a lot. So in 2019 of December for 3 weeks, we went to South Africa, shot the show up until the mid-season. Hey, it was quite a time. The schedule was very strict because we'd wake up by like 5. Na 5 jua ya South Africa ni kama hii yetu ya noon. 5 jua yote imewaka. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
By 5 mmetoka, mnaanza rehearsals. If you're recording vocals that day, you record. It was just a whole day of working. Rehearsals, recording. You only break for lunch. Unacheka na watu wa South Africa hapo kidogo. It was very stressful. Very stressful. And again, I think Twaweza prepared us. That having a schedule.
Yeah.
Knowing...
all 6 of you, actually.
Yeah, all 6 of us.
Working in sync.
In sync. But it took us a while to get there. Because again, when we were in Twaweza, yes, we were working together, but not on our own thing. Not in a thing where you have opinions, where you are making decisions,
right.
Where you are realizing if I talk like this to this person, it won't be received as well as if I talk
like this to this other person.
Ilikuwa a lot of learning about what the group could be, what we want to be, a lot of learning each other actually in the play. Imagine mmetupwa kwa country ingine, sasa rely on each other. it was it was an interesting time. Na stress mingi, it was a very high pressure environment, but somehow tulipenya to the semi-finals, and then we took a break and came back to Kenya.
Yeah. The flip side of that is, do you think that you call it the power of numbers was also useful for such a high pressure situation?
Definitely.
It was like 2 of you maybe you'd have cracked.
Tungedai. We would have, but uzuri the group, the competition already was taking groups of 4, 6, and 8. But I'm imagining if it was an individual competition, it would have been very, very, very strenuous.
Yeah.
Very.
At this point, are you, of course you're relying, in far-fetched, but of course you're relying on the tools you've gotten from Taweza and before.
On everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so is there a bit of you, the part of you that was sparked in Quabbz, did you see it now in SA, ama in the Wanavokali experience?
As far back as Quabbz, damn. I think also I had grown a lot since that period. I had really grown a lot. Even such that by the time tulikuwa tunafika South Africa, the guys had decided unofficially that I'll be the one to lead the group.
There you go.
Na nilijaribu kuihepa. I really tried to hepa it because leading would mean when the results are announced, when anything happens, I'm the one to stand at the podium. I'm the physical representation of the group that is Wanavokali. And that shit is scary. It was very scary for me. I even tried to assign that role to someone else. Akasema, no, imagine you're the best person.
Yeah.
You are the best person to do this thing.
I have a question to close this loop. Sorry, before you go. Did you feel the same way? Did you ask yourself that question that you had asked yourself? But am I really worthy of this position?
The imposter syndrome.
It was there, but not as loud.
Yeah.
Not as loud.
Not as loud.
Okay. Ndio swali.
No.
Busy being born. You didn't say.
Yeah.
But you know, so there was a certain intimidation. Now, this is not even for us as a group. We are competing with people from Ghana, Zimbabwe, South Africa. People, and you know, South Africans are vocalists. They are superior vocalists, to be honest. And there are some people who tell you we've sung together for 9 years, and we have been together for 2 months, barely trying to figure out what is this thing we are doing. So there was a lot of pressure.
Ndlovu choir. What are they called?
Yeah, Ndlovu, yes, Ndlovu Youth Choir. There was quite a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you? So to close this conversation, sort of to bring, are you performing your own music at this point, or are you taking?
No.
Okay.
It had to be songs, covers. Songs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Which one brought it home?
Salary. The song
the
we posted on.
One. Look at that.
The one. That's the one that brought it. Full circle moment. It's the one that brought it home.
So you're in a group right now, and one of the things that we are learning is that you are a leader. And everyone is seeing it. Everyone has seen it from Quabbz, you know that, right? This is not a fluke. Do you think it's a fluke?
No, it's not.
It's not a fluke.
Have I said that confidently? No, it's not.
Come on with it. It's not a fluke. Because just if you could turn the spotlight on, like, and see how other people are seeing you, then you notice there's a certain pattern to this, right? There's a pattern all the way from, not now, from Quabbz. People saw it. People saw Ythera as a leader.
And what is that they're seeing? What is that they're saying? If you're to give it words, they're saying,
do you know?
You think?
I'm trying to think. When we were at Taweza, one of the ladies that is now in the group, she's called Chep. Since she came after us, there's a day she found me arguing with one of the production people, asking them something too about background vocals. There's something that they hadn't provided for us. And I was very authoritative na push. And then she came in and thought I was even one of the people in the organization.
Oh.
So I don't know. I think there's that authority that I give out that I don't know. I don't see it, but I think there's a certain authority or a certain strength or a certain taking charge of things that I have.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing to hear you speak about it because it's
Thank
there.
you.
Always remind yourself that it's there.
Thank you.
Aye. It's a Wanavokali answer about how it feels with the money and with everything. But for
Which money?
Ythera,
Which money is all this you're talking?
tutajibiwa. But for Ythera, when the announcement is made and the winners are just screams and all, you were in the papers the following day. Mlijua?
I know ilikuwa time ya COVID, so haikupubliciziwa sana
but tuliwaona
but mlituona
tuliwaona so what is going on for what is Ythera's
sasa
experience?
hata iko na story sasa siniliwambia tulienda SA in December for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We went back again in 2020 March just before the pandemic for 2 weeks. We were supposed to stay there for a month, but the pandemic hit and they had to harakisha things. So by the time we were at the finals, we were 3 groups. And because they insisted we had to go home the next day juu lockdown ingetupata, we had all 3 groups had to shoot and act like they had won.
Oh.
So by the time we came back to Kenya, tukwa tunajua nani ameshinda.
Interesting.
So when the season is now airing. So tuli act si wote kama tuna win. Haujui. They do that, throw the confetti stage in a cleaniwa next group. All of us. Hey, production teams, munafanyanga kazi. Shout out to you guys. So we came back to Kenya and missed the lockdown just by 1 day. Na ilikuwa ile mandatory ile they were saying people who had come from outside had to be taken to a government facility. We missed that thankfully.
Around March the 13th.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
it was mid-March.
It was mid-March.
So we stayed, I think, some months. I don't know if the win was announced in June. To go home following the episodes, waiting to see who is winning. That's how the news would have been broken to us. There was no other way to know who has won because there's voting happening. Nini. We really rallied our people to vote for us. Now Kenya wali come through. Sana. So there's a way we knew that kuna vile tulikuwa tumeshikana mikono hiyo time. We knew that if they show that on TV, tutajua tuliwini kitu. And they showed that. So nilikuwa najua tumewin hata before they announced. Sayo niko with my parents hapo, with my bros, tumewatch hivi tunangoja kuona nani amewin. Sayo niliona tumeshikana mikono ndio nilijua tu. Roho imeanza
This has to be ours.
Tuliscream, tulishout kwa hiyo nyumba. It was such an exciting feeling. Hata I can't put it to words. It was exciting. And I will say we were the underdogs. So for the underdogs to come and win, yani, it was amazing. It was amazing.
This is mind-blowing for me, especially vile nimejua ni pre-recorded.
Ilikuwa pre-recorded.
So, present time, you're screaming,
yes.
but pia on screen, mnajiona mkiscream.
Tunajiona yes.
Unajua?
Kabisa.
And in that moment, unajua vizuri ukiscream, hauko sure ni wewe umeshinda.
But kitu tulirobiwa of, ni kuwatch hiyo kitu pamoja. Tulikuwa deep in COVID. Atujamit sayo, sijui for how many months. So tuko home tu tunawatch all of us individually in our homes.
So,
tukafanya ka video call, tukafurahi. Yeah. That's how it was.
Okay.
Congrats on that.
Thank you so much.
So up to this point, you've mostly been doing covers, right?
Yes.
At what point do you start writing your own thing?
Without
getting too much into Wanavokali.
But now we kind of have to.
Sort of. Let's do it. Just a bit. Just touch.
Hard to separate.
Yeah.
So after the win, we were not sure what direction we want to take. And I normally feel bad for saying this, but COVID was a very good period for us because first we had some cushioning, we had some money. In a period where artists were not making money, we had that cushion.
So the money did come. It came. It was taxed in South Africa. It was taxed. But it came.
And they were very diligent. Ilifika. Right. And that is the money that helped us record our debut. It helped us. Wow. Actually, that money is what has made Wanavokali.
Wow.
So in that period is when we started discussing what kind of music we'd like to do, what direction we'd like to take. And again, having 6 heads, it's a difficult conversation. We all come from different backgrounds, musically or otherwise. We all have different ideas of what we thought the group would be. And the thing we decided to do is to do a writing camp. Seclude ourselves from everything and from the world. And again, the money helped us to be able to do that. And during that period, there's a producer called Sedo who helped us. Because Sedo tulikuwa naye twaweza. He was our music director. So again, all these experiences just adding up to each other. Sedo helped us to try and kind of create songs, create a sound. Yeah. He guided the recording camp and guided us into a dream or into a vision or into something we wanted to do. And he simplified it just by saying that album should be representative of the 6 of you. Just because it's a group doesn't mean it has to sound like one thing. It can sound like all of you, and that's what the album ended up becoming. Yeah,
look at that. Aya, tumeongea juu ya money coming in. Yeah. again, a Wanavokali conversation, but for Ythera, what did you discover was your relationship with money? Yeah, especially comparing to everyone else and how whatever it is vile mligawana hata mkikuja kwa recording na everything ile ulishikilia, what did you discover was your relationship with
I discovered I had a very severe scarcity mentality when it came to money. First of all, as a musician living in Kenya, hujazoea kuona pesa kama hiyo, haujazoea kabisa. And then I also discovered I also have a lack of financial knowledge. But the best thing I did ever was to take my time before deciding what I wanted to do with the money. And also COVID helped us a bit because it was in a period where you couldn't afford to use your money kiholela. You just could not. So that really, really, really helped us. Yeah. But it was nice cushioning. Ilinisaidia kuhama. Ilinisaidia kufanya vitu mingi sana. It helped me give back to my parents for all those years that
you manager
my manager, but by then tulikuwa tumecut ties. We were just now roommates.
But look at that, moving out in COVID time. That's opposite.
When everyone was scaling,
everyone
was scaling back. Okay. In the interest of time, let's bring it to. Let's not talk too much on the Wanavokali piece. We'll talk about him kiwa hapa nyinyi yote pamoja. But to coming down to present day, how could you say this has taught you as Ythera so far? Because there's been rumor and doing your album and a good level of success at least. Amwezi sema sasa nyinyi watu underground anymore. Can you say that?
Hatuwezi sema tuko underground, pia tuko established.
So you're on a good path.
I'm a good middle point.
Right?
Yes.
So what has this taught you about who you are in your journey of self-discovery and where you want to go as Ythera, and then too as a leader? What are some of the lessons that you've picked up, especially in relation to this path that you're on and now being known? Do people recognize you on the streets? They do, right?
Hapana pale,
exactly, right? So as a person, how has that transformed you, if at all?
Well, I will just say it's the thing of, believing in your dreams. There have been so many times, even as recently as last year, that I've felt like quitting this thing. But there have also been more reasons to push me to continue pursuing it. It's a thing of just, keeping with your dream and believing, trusting the process. Even though the process doesn't know you are trusting it. Just trust that you will get there. And also allowing your dreams to change. There are so many things that have happened to me and for me that I could not even perceive. Hata sikuwa haikuwa in my realm of imagination. Juu haijai nifanyikia. Singedhani kitu inaweza nifanyikia at such a big scale. Allowing your dreams to change is also something that's very vital. Yes. And also, as I was saying, allowing myself to do things and not kuacha kujifungia kufanya vitu because of fear, because I don't know what the outcome will be, because there are many reasons you give yourself for not doing things.
Doing them in spite.
That has been the biggest lesson. And also knowing that fame or artistry comes in many different forms and shapes. It doesn't mean that you have to be the one standing in the middle doing everything. It comes in very many forms. There's not just one way to be an artist. There's not just one way to be a musician. There's so much you can do. Yes. And also that money is important. Because money has given us access to a lot of things that we couldn't be able to do otherwise. And also that this industry is a very money-intensive, capital-intensive industry. You need to have a lot of money to be able to do what you want. Yes. And also on the Wanavokali end, like I had said early on, it's the power of collaboration, the power of seeks, the power of asking for help, seeking it out. That has been helpful. There are so many things I've been able to achieve through Wanavokali that I know for sure I would not have been able to do just myself. And especially coming from a background where I was solo and I felt the need to do everything on my own, that kind of pressure has imeniondokea.
And is there anything that maybe you have read, changed your mind about in regards to leadership, especially within this team that needs to really work together in order to succeed? Are there any new ideas that you've developed around your leadership style? How to rally a big team towards a certain cause?
The thing I will say, okay, the leadership, let me start from this. It has really built my confidence, Wachatunianze hapo. And this might be a weird opinion, but being in a group where we are females and male, it has made me see how men can lead and how women can lead. I tend to find that there's a certain assertiveness that men have, even within our group. And they allow us to lead, by they allow the women to lead. They're the most gentlemanly men I've ever had the pleasure of working with. But there's a certain assertiveness that men carry that sometimes I say in another life, and this has been said, I want to come back with the audacity of a man. And a white man at that. There's a certain, sijui nita-explain aje, a certain confidence, a certain unapologeticness that I've seen. That's my personal observation from myself and also other women. We tend to apologize a lot. We tend to tone down our assertiveness so that we are not taken as aggressive. And I think I had taken on those things because I thought that's what it means to be a female leader, to kind of lead with your softness. But on the flip side, I think it's possible to do both, to be assertive and not be looked at as aggressive, to be confident and not be looked at as cocky, because that's how men lead. And you'll never hear someone say, that's a cocky man. You'll never hear. That's what I've learned from interacting with Wanavokali. There's a certain thing that men have when they lead that I hope to embody.
Or
that makes
or, and we could go on for another 20 minutes, or it's okay for men to lead that way,
and it's
okay for women to lead that way. We don't have to say one
that
is better. And
yes, or that. But it's also just learning from those two elements. And
because at the end of the day, we live in a society and we live in...
That's true.
So
and it's acknowledging. That's as simple as I feel. It's as simple as a young Ythera realizing that it is fine for the boy to lift his t-shirt and walk around. No, true story. True story. Ni a point of
yes.
There's a certain privilege they have in that way
Yes.
that I could as well. But anyway, good. So where are you now? Where's your mind space? Where's your intention around the craft, around life?
Wow, that is interesting. Because me as the Ythera of Wanavokali, because I'm tied there, I feel the burden of taking our brand to a higher level. And one of our goals is we always say we want to be the biggest Kenyan export huku nje. So that's what we are really, really trying to work towards.
Okay.
Me as Ythera, for a long time I've had a kind of love-hate relationship with music. Music is a thing that feeds me, but at the same time, it can be difficult when it's not feeding you, especially your pocket. It fulfills somewhere in me, but sometimes it doesn't. It's quite challenging. So I want to try and branch out, either in somewhere within the value chain of music or something else entirely with the skills that non-related to music that I have gotten over all these years. So it's me trying to figure kind of a different path or a different avenue for myself as well.
Right. All the best to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Let's bring it to a close before we go into the play. You are the leader in some certain capacity of YCS.
Hapo ndo mnairudisha.
I'll throw it back and then come back.
My God.
Has anything changed around your relationship with Kanisa, with God,
With belief.
with belief?
So much. Again, also with my spirituality, I am also on a journey, on a new journey with that. Over the years, I think my belief in established religion is slowly dwindling. I've been at the point of questioning quite a lot. And I'm at the point where I want to figure spirituality for myself outside of what I've been told, outside of the go to church, outside of the strictness of the Catholic Church. I want to figure this spirituality on my own. That's where I am spiritually. Yeah.
You don't want to drink wine anymore?
Hey, we are drinking
Okay.
wine.
Just not
How
altar.
are we
Just
to,
not.
how
Just
are
not
we to
altar
cope
wine.
in this Kenya?
Just not altar wine.
No.
All the best with that.
Yes.
All the best
Thank
with
you.
that.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much.
Yeah.
I think generally I'm in a period of questioning.
Okay.
Whether it's my journey in my career, whether it's in all aspects of my life, I'm in that period of the figuring out and the questioning and the pivoting.
Yeah.
Hizo zote.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Yes.
And you know what they said? Asking really good questions is more than half of getting things figured out. If you ask the right questions, then you're bound to figure the way out.
Actually, there's either St. Augustine or St. Francis quote around that in the curiosities, in the questionings, in the doubt that we find direction. So, kila la heri.
Thank
It's
you.
in the question. St.
Kila
Augustine.
Thank you. I really,
Yeah?
really appreciate that.
Hey, that's what's up. Aya, tuingie play kidogo as we malizia. And what we made my play is just going back to happy memories, ama childlike things.
I was wondering what that is.
Yeah, what are you
means.
guys talking about? Ama just weird opinions around things na tutaicheza kidogo kidogo tu. Sasa Garden Estate mlikuwa mnajua nini? Kati na all that.
Actually, mi
Yeah.
sikuwa na mabeshte wengi madem. Most of my friends
Yeah.
were
Ulikuwa na
my...
du fompara ro.
Hiyo side ya nini hapana.
Hakukuwa na du.
Okay, hiyo ni side
Mi
ingine.
nimeambia niligrow up Kitomboy sana. Most of
Yeah.
my friends were guys actually, or
Yeah.
my brothers' friends.
Yeah. So what games are you playing back in the day?
Bano,
Police and Robber.
police, hizo.
Mlikuwa na mng'ari?
Kamngari hapana.
Mufara.
Hatukudu hizo.
Okay. What about childhood memories around music apart from the song that you sang? Nini nyingine tunarukaruka tukicheza kawa toi tukiimba?
Kai.
Especially local ones like wa Kenya. Ni gani saa hizo ilikuwa wazee?
Wow. Maybe times hizi za machago latini. Songs za Isa lazima.
Okay.
Lazima ndani. Alafu imenifanya nikumbuke kuna times my bros walikuwa na hepa ndo waende kuattend chaguo latini zilikuwa hapo kani. Sa kazi yangu ilikuanga kuwafungulia mlango
Magizani.
wakirudi
Do your
home.
parents know this?
I don't, if they knew walicheza chini sana.
Hapo sawa.
Sidhani walijua.
Waambie wasikize hii podcast.
Mziki wise, still on the same tangent.
Yeah.
If you're to be cast, have you listened to Desert Island Discs? You'll really enjoy it. It's
what's that?
one of the longest running podcasts on BBC.
Yeah.
Have you listened to Desert Island Discs? No? Okay. They ask this question. They cast you into an island and then you choose the music. Like
Wow.
yeah, like they cast you in an island, so choose like I think eight discs that you're carrying with you, and each of them has a story to it.
Yeah.
So it's like So anyway, if you're to be cast out on an island with 3 songs, that those are the ones you'd listen to for the period of time. What 3 songs would those be?
Unaweka mapresha. Me am a Beyonce fan, let me just say.
Okay, so you're
I
carrying one
admire
Beyonce.
her work ethic, manzi. I really admire her work ethic. Should I say the specific song?
Yeah, which jam are you carrying with you?
In this new album, Kafit, that song, kuna pali it's a vibey song. It's the song
That's
I listen
what's
to
up.
when I need my mood to be lifted. Hey, Michael Jackson, shake your body down to the ground, let's dance. I'm realizing all my songs are very upbeat. Lastly, we have to add one Kasad song because you're in an island, you're in a deserted island. Let me think. There's an artist called Liane Lahavas. Go and check her out. She has very sad songs. Any of her music, really.
Yeah.
Any of her music.
Yeah.
So that it is.
Hey, that's what's up. Asante sana.
Thank you,
Asante
man.
sana for playing with us. Asante sana for sitting with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Asante sana for...
And thank you for taking me back on the journey. I think when you're living life, you don't realize how much you've been doing until it's actually played out for you.
Do you know what we call that?
Busy being born.
That's what's up. And keep growing and keep busy being born. We'll be out here celebrating you all through.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to the platform.
We are honored.
I've really enjoyed this conversation. I've never done this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you heard her, our guest for this particular one. We celebrate her because we can't wait for to hear as a part of her introduction. Going forward, tutakuwa nasikia the very much celebrated Ythera. Unajua, because we celebrate you already. So keep going, stay busy being born. Tunasikiza mziki, tunaifurahia, Wanavokali. We see you.
Thank you.
We see you and we can't wait for more from you. Say hi to the whole gang.
I will.
Please do.
All 5 of them.
Kindly. Waambie
Yes.
tuna invite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we have a live session coming forward, coming soon, hopefully in a couple of months.
Nice.
So maybe itakuwa just for that one.
Okay.
Bigger space, so tunaweza kuwa na viti sita.
Yeah.
We can arrange for that, sindio?
Absolutely.
It would be
Sawa,
lovely
sawa.
to
It
have
would
you
be
guys
lovely
with
to
us.
have you
Love to
over.
come.
Yeah.
That's what's
Asanteni
up.
sana.
And yeah, more than anything else, we wish you peace, we wish you love, and may you find a lot of ease in this journey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That is a very genuine wish. Asante.
Yeah. And yeah, for you, thanks again for journeying with us. We really, really appreciate you. Thanks, Monique. Thanks, Grace. Oh, the big three. The big three. That is true. We
Tunakumbushwa, sawa.
Big three
Big
ni
three.
Rhino, Leopard.
No. So big three. That is true.
We always close off with
Always
the big
close with the
three.
big three. Which one do we start with? You said you're not a
Books.
big reader.
Not as
Yeah.
much as
Not
you
as
used
much
to.
as you used to.
Unfortunately, sadly, when I
Okay.
went to Campo, my reading culture plummeted.
But even from back
Kabisa.
then, even from back then, is
No,
there
I
a
wouldn't.
book unakumbuka uko that one nafaa kurudia ama that one I'll gift people someday?
To be honest,
Yeah.
no,
Hakuna ile.
hakuna.
What
Wacha
about the
nisidanganye.
opposite? What about, well, it's not the opposite. What about a song ama a film? A song ushatuambia.
Yeah.
Twende a film.
A
Or
film.
something tunaweza sema, oh, this is a thing I recommend.
In any genre,
Anything.
any whatever. Ooh, I gotta think about. Also, I'm not an avid film.
Okay.
Okay.
Watcha.
Tutaenda
So this is
kila
the
mahali.
worst.
Kila mahali.
Worst
No worries.
question.
That's all. It's all good. If you're to have dinner, once in a lifetime opportunity with 3 people, dead or alive, who would those 3 people be?
I will mention my queen Beyonce. Michelle Obama. And again, Michael Jackson. Also, the reason also I name those women is because they're powerful women. And I'd love to see, because I'm also in a space where starting a family. I want to start a family. And there's that dynamic of a working woman, a career woman, and a family woman. I've always wanted to know how is it having it all? How is the balance? Because we keep being told that you can have it all. But from what I see with my friends who are in that space, in the career space, and also as motherhood, there's a thing that has to suffer. And from these powerful women, it always looks like they have everything on
Figured out.
You
know why they have figured out? They
Because
have
they have
husbands.
and PR teams. But
No.
Yeah.
I would love to know for a powerful woman what their life looks like. I'd really love to know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we wish you so much good, such that you'll be answering this for girls
Generations.
looking up to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. The final one.
The final one? Go
The
for
final one. You've mentioned Michelle Obama. We'd like to claim her as one of our own, yeah? But there's this platform, yeah? It could be physical. Let's think of it as a physical one. And all the greats that we all look up to as Africa, wako hapo. Yeah, so the Nelson Mandelas, the Wangari Maathais, the Makebas, wako hapo. And maybe one of them is giving a speech or something, yeah? But wamesema si huyu ndio anaongea on behalf of everyone else. But the rest of you, particularly you, have the opportunity to tell African folk something, but you only
Africa to tell Africa?
Africa something, yeah, but you can only do it on the writing on your t-shirt. So what is written there? It could be a short statement, it could be a quote you believe in, a thing you think about a lot, that you wish Africa, of course humanity would benefit from it, but particularly Africa, watachukua hiyo waseme, we get you and we hear you.
Africa. Let me say what I would have loved to hear. A smaller me being told. There's something that a statement that I saw recently. We spend most of our lives trying to search for ourselves. And that child that you were at that time, you already knew who you were. You knew yourself. You knew what you liked. You knew your interests. Maybe you were just not confident enough to put it out. And you spent most of your life trying to go back to that inner child. I'd say find your inner child.
Find
Life
your
is a journey.
Yes.
The inner child.
Yeah.
Okay. Find your inner child.
Yeah.
Find your inner child.
Okay.
Find your inner child.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me say that.
Thank you. And we wish you keep finding her
Thank you.
and glorifying her.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
Asanteni pia.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard from the one and the only Ythera. Toka kwetu tunasema asanteni sana mazee. I feel like Kamande amesema thank you to the team, but ama hiyo ni memory.
I did.
Loop. You did, yeah? So bless up the team kama kawaida tuzidi. And to you who's listening, thank you so much mazee. To you who's watching the short clips here and there, ama even the full version of the interview, we say thank you. We hope you're busy being born. We hope all this guests that we keep bringing are testimony enough that you could fully live your life. Unajua, you could grow from that point you are and move even in times of fear beyond the fear.
In spite of the
In
fear.
spite of the fear. Ythera ametukumbusha hiyo again and again, and I'm sure as you'll be watching her career and as you'll be watching her, whatever version that she'd like to grow into, I'm sure she'll always have lessons that tutakuwa tunarudi kwa hii podcast tuko, and she told us she'd be that big, and she told us she'd live fully. So to you as well who's listening and watching, know that you can stay out there, busy being born, and keep doing so. From us, hatuna mengi, ni kukumbusha we are on the socials, kwa hivyo tufuate, tuzungumzie. Ythera pia ataweza kutuambia where we can get her on the socials.
Yes, on the social media, nipate at Ythera Music, Ythera with a Y, that is YTHERA, and also for my other persona, Wanavokali.
That's what's up.
Got it.
Wanavokali on YouTube as well.
On YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, kila pahali,
That's what's up.
everywhere.
Yeah. Listen to a podcast, share, and leave a comment or whatever on all podcast platforms, from Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere where you get your podcasts. You can also find us on our website, that is at busybeingborn.africa. And you can also find us on our Twitter and Instagram pages at busybeingborn_, and on Facebook at the Busy Being Born podcast. As we always say, if you're not busy being born,
then you're probably busy not living.
I am Kamande.
Your boy Keko Do.
Peace.
Peace. Yay.
We made it.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Do look out for more from us. For now, Kwaheri.